Okay, so here is the video on reading passage 3. Okay, so here is reading passage 3, commonly thought of as the most difficult one. As always, we're starting off with our title, and as always, it's the wrong one. Reducing the effects of climate change. Okay, pretty popular topic. Someone's reporting on a geoengineering project being explored by scientists. Okay. So first of all, we can see the paragraphs have headings A, B, C, so they're all labeled. So we're probably going to find a matching question later on. Let's go back to paragraph A. So probably introductory in nature, just giving us some background information on the problem. Global warming is inevitable. Experts agree on this. Cause is fossil fuel. Let's move on to paragraph B. So we saw here the subheading geoengineering. So probably the solution to this problem mentioned in paragraph A. Then here we see this phrase repeated in paragraph B. It's been shown to work. Well, work on what? Well, the problems have already been mentioned here. The volume of carbon dioxide. And of course, also in the subheading. Actually, not the subheading. The main heading. Climate change. So we're dealing with some method of reducing the effects of climate change, and the method is called geoengineering. If we move on to paragraph C, this is in one sentence. The majority. Okay, so we can see it's already started. They've carried out some projects, and so here we can see we're dealing with some specific methods. So it might be a good idea to note that down. And if we go back to paragraph B, well, they talk about how effective geoengineering is. Paragraph A basically just an introduction. Okay, let's go back to the second page. Okay, so our next paragraph. The concept of reducing aerosol sprays into the atmosphere has been proposed by several scientists. Now, you might not know what the word, aerosol, not aerosol, aerosol. You might not know what aerosol spray means, but if we just look at the next sentence, we see here, here's the word aerosol, clouds. Okay, so spraying something into the atmosphere. So let's put spray here. Okay, spraying things into the atmosphere. That's a very specific method, kind of connected to what we saw in C. Okay, let's move on to E, our topic sentence here. So, will it work? Generally speaking, people are cautious. Okay. So, this paragraph seems to be about whether or not it's actually effective. If we move on to the next paragraph, the U.S. National Center for Atmospheric Research has already suggested that the proposal might affect rainfall patterns. Okay, so is this a good thing? Maybe not, I'm not sure. Sounds like this could be a possible problem. Okay, let's move on to G, further risk. Okay, so we were right in thinking that the previous paragraph dealt with risks, because here, see, further risk. Okay, so paragraph G dealing with risks. H, the main reason why geoengineering is supported by many scientific. Okay, so support. So very often you have a paragraph dealing with pros or advantages, and another paragraph dealing with disadvantages or cons. Alright, now, of course, as we are reading our topic sentences, we could also do some scanning for keywords. Okay, let's see, numbers and proper nouns. Here we just see plan A, plan B. That does not look very useful. Let's see here. Here we have a name. University of Arizona. Here we have numbers 16 trillion, 1.5 million. Angel. Okay, same name repeated. Let's go to paragraph C. Here we have Earth. The Arctic. Let's see here. Here we have the Arctic again. Here's a mountain. Date. Philippines. Degree. Here's the Russian Arctic again. Greenland. Okay, so a lot of words related to the Arctic. We have Russian again. Go to paragraph E. There's the name we saw before. There's another name. Some laboratory. Let's go to F. We have this ocean. We have a name. It's repeated. Here we can see another name. Sciences. Okay, here the name is repeated. This paragraph, name, here's some kind of program. Okay, now we're ready to go to the questions. Okay, so this is a matching question. That's the reason why our paragraphs were labeled from A to H. Let's see. Mention of a geoengineering project based on an early natural phenomenon. Natural phenomenon. Okay, well, I remember reading about the Arctic. Let's see where that was. Okay, so that was in D. Here we have Greenland, we have this mountain, the Russian Arctic. That all seems to be related to nature. And here we have this phrase, natural phenomenon. Okay, based on an earlier natural phenomenon. Let's see, based on. Well, for based on, here we have this phrase, modeled on. And modeled on and based on, those are synonyms. Okay, so this is where we will find the answer. Ocean term, the idea is modeled on historic volcanic explosions. Okay, so this has to do with nature, modeled on. So answer for 27 seems to be D. Let's get rid of this. 28. An example of a successful use of geoengineering. Okay, success. Well, effective, success, that seems to make sense. So an example. It works, and then they tell us how it works. In Moscow, during May Day parades. Okay, so that would be B. A common definition of geoengineering. Well, in academic papers, where do we usually expect definitions to occur? Very often in the beginning, in the introduction. Definition. Okay, here we have the phrase term. Term, it's like a definition. Here we see geoengineering, a term. That's what the question wants us to do. Find a common definition of geoengineering. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Instructions. Let's try that again. One word. Nope, still doesn't work. Okay, here we go. One word. Okay. Put procedure aim. Spacecraft. Where did we read about space? Well, here we're reading about Earth. Let's see here. Let's go back to our question. To create something that would reduce the amount of light reaching Earth. Okay, so important word here would of course be light, light and Earth. So here in paragraph B, okay, here's Earth, and we see light. This could, essentially reduce the amount of light. Here's light. So what does this refer to? This refers to here, light reflecting sunshade. But we're limited to one word. So of course, we're going to go with just sunshade. The noun. Place something in the sea. Well, we found the answer to number 30 in paragraph B right at the end. So these questions are probably in sequence, so I wouldn't expect to find the answer in A. Let's go to C. Here we see the word ocean. Okay, our question, place something in the sea. For what purpose? To encourage something else to form. Place something in the sea to encourage something else to form. Encourage. Here we have the word stimulate. Well, if something is stimulated, it is encouraged to grow. Deposit. Could deposit be a synonym for place something in? Yes, it could. So deposit what? Iron. Okay, so iron to stimulate the growth of what? Algae. Okay, so here we have the answer iron, encouraging algae to form. Let's go to the next one. Releasing aerosol sprays into the stratosphere to create something that reduces the light reaching Earth. Wow, that's very similar to this one. But it's probably not a good idea to go back to B. Which in turn would lead to global dimming. reduce the amount of light reaching Earth. Well, if there's less light, then it's dim, right? So for this question, it seems like the answer is going to be clouds, what we see here. More clouds, global dimming. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Fix strong blah 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 to Greenland ice sheets. Well, Greenland is going to be pretty easy to find. Here we have it, Greenland. We already highlighted this word. So let's go back to the question. Let's see, Greenland. Fix strong blah 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 to Greenland's ice sheets. Fix. Well, fix here is used as a verb, but does it mean to fix something as in something is broken? Probably not. We have reinforced high-tension cables preventing icebergs from moving. Okay, so here we have the word icebergs. We have ice sheets. Reinforced high-tension cables. Reinforced. So the reinforced high tension is just describing our noun here, cables. So cables, strong. Strong is reinforced. So our answer for 34 is just going to be cables. Okay, here we have the Russian Arctic. Plant trees to allow something to reflect radiation. Russian Arctic. Reflect radiation. Here we see radiation. Here we see reflect. So radiation will be reflected. Look at the question. Allow the something to reflect radiation. So what is going to reflect the radiation? By the snow. Okay, so snow is the agent. Snow is the thing doing the reflecting. So our answer here is going to be snow. Change the direction of something to bring more cold water into ice-forming areas. Let's see. Cold water. Rerouting. Well, if you reroute something, you change its direction. Change the direction of rivers. Russian rivers. Okay, so get rid of the word Russian. Just go with the word rivers. Okay, so rivers is going to be the answer to our question here. Okay, let's move on to the next batch of questions. Another matching question. Okay, so we have these names here. Luckily, we already highlighted those before. So let's see. Roger Angel. Where did we see that name? Here. Here's once. Where else do we see? Because here, this is not the first time we see his name. Where else was he mentioned? Oh, here. So we have paragraph B, and because here is the way they refer to him, Professor Roger Angel, whereas here just Angel. So this will be the second time he's mentioned. So the answer is either going to be in B or E. Let's look at the question more properly. Not the question, rather, the person. Roger Angel. So he talked in B and E. Okay, what did he say here? Here he talked about sunlight refracting sunshade. Is there anything here about sunshine? Not really. Let's think about E. Here he says his plan is no substitute for developing renewable energy. Renewable energy. Renewable energy is the only permanent solution. Does anything match that? Well, yeah. 40. Research, oh, come on. Let's get rid of this. Research into non-fossil-based fuels cannot be replaced by geoengineering. Okay, so the way I did it now is a little bit unconventional. I looked at the names first, and then I started looking at statements. So this will match with A. Let's try the other way around. Let's see. The effects of geoengineering may not be long-lasting. Well, does that sound like a problem? Let's see. We talked about risks here. So Dan Lunt. See, Dan Lunt is here in this paragraph. It's about risk. Let's look more closely at our question. The effects of geoengineering may not be long-lasting. Let's see what Lunt has to say. Further risk with geoengineering project is that you can overshoot. Okay, overshoot here in quotation marks, meaning you can go too far. Well, it might not be the answer to 37, but I see here in 39, it may be necessary to limit the effectiveness of geoengineering projects. Well, if you limit something, then the reason is because you're going too far. So it seems to me that 39 matches this one here, because that's what he said, right? Okay. So we got the answer to the last two questions, even though 39, maybe not directly what we were looking for. So let's go back to 37. So we didn't find the answer in the paragraph that we expected to find it in risk. So there are no other names mentioned here. So let's see if we can't find it somewhere else. Let's see. Let's go back here. Okay, here we have some more names. Roger Angel. Okay, what did he say? Question. May not be long-lasting. Is there anything here about long-lasting? Dependency on fossil fuels. No, there's nothing there. Is it effective? Okay, this is a good idea. Because if something is long-lasting, it is effective. Maybe we'll have better luck looking at E. Okay, here they talk about time, 10 to 20 years. Let's see. The planet will return to its pre-engineered condition very rapidly, probably within 20 years. Okay, so if it returns, that means whatever we did, it's not that effective. Whatever we did to the planet in terms of climate change. Okay, so 37. It looks like we can find the answer to that here in paragraph E. Okay, so who is that? Phil Rash. Okay. Okay, so we got that answer. Let's go to the last question missing. 38. Geoengineering is a topic worth exploring. Okay, topic worth exploring. Topic worth exploring. That sounds like a concluding statement to me. So I would expect to see something about that in the last paragraph, where we often see concluding statements. Okay, there's only one person here. He said, human-induced climate change has brought humanity to a position where we shouldn't exclude thinking thoroughly about this topic and its possibilities. We shouldn't exclude thinking thoroughly about this topic. Well, if you look at the question, it's a topic worth exploring. Well, that sounds to me like it's just a paraphrasing of what he says here. Okay, so we found the answer to 38 as well. And again, I included some tips in the end of the video. If the text is a little bit difficult to read, I'm putting the material up on the site also. Hope it's useful.